Well, good morning, everyone. Excuse me. It is it's about 6 o'clock. This is the return trip, day 2. We are, we spent the night, we spent the night in Cleburne last night. Stayed in a hotel for the first time since we've been on this trip. Um, we pulled out this morning about 3 a.m. Good morning. And right now we have been on the road obviously about 3 hours, and we are in San Saba, Texas. We are on our way to Camp Wood, Texas. We're going to stay there a couple of nights, and we're kind of feeling the trip right now. So we've taken a couple more breaks than normal, but I have to say I'm really happy with the motorcycles. They're doing really well. That's kind of packed up. Speaking of that, I probably should close that up. But that's kind of how it's all packed up. This is I got this at Academy. It's just a I forgot the name of the name brand. Canvas duffel bag. And then got this at Walmart. This is an outdoor, this is a dry sack. And I keep a little cooler back here with the water. We're averaging about 41 miles per gallon and going really well. And I'll check in with you when we get there.
Well, I wanted to tell you how we traveled every day. Obviously, you've seen that we leave very early in the morning. We generally would get up at 1 o'clock, 1 a.m., and drive until usually about 10. Most days we were at our day's location by 10 o'clock. There was one particular day it was at 11. Um, and then we would be in bed to go to sleep somewhere around 5:30, um, and I was completely surprised at how quickly my body adjusted to that time schedule. Not only did it adjust, but I liked it. I'm a morning person anyway, but I was very, very surprised at how quickly I adjusted to that. And of course, if you're looking at the scenery, you can see one of the reasons why I enjoy this time of day, to drive for a few hours in the dark, and then to watch the sky light up as it is doing on the screen now, and then to watch the sunrise. Just one of the most enjoyable things for me. I know most people that I have talked to and told about this, uh, they're happy for me, but not something they want to do. And I get that, but this is one of the most enjoyable things for me, to watch the sky light up. And to me, these mornings are some of the most beautiful scenery that I'd ever seen. As I said in the first part, we're on our way to Camp Wood, and so this, if you're not familiar, this is in the hill country of Texas, and beautiful drive. Texas is such a huge state, and everything terrain-wise that you can imagine it seems to have. And this was my first time to go into this part of Texas. Now my dad has driven through, in years gone by, he has driven through this area, so he remembered some of it. But for me, this was my first time to drive through, and it was just gorgeous. We thoroughly enjoyed the trip, and you'll see the scenery as we go along, how beautiful it is. But even this camera, I did several different shots through here as far as placements of the camera. I say several, a couple of different shots. And it didn't matter where I put it. It just doesn't do it justice. It is such a beautiful, beautiful thing. You might have seen a few seconds ago that a rabbit ran out in front of me. That was the story of this whole trip for me. I had one rabbit just run right into the motorcycle on the front end. That happened several days prior to this. But this was the story of the trip for me. Matter of fact, as we're leaving Camp Wood on one video you'll see a little later, another one ran out in front of me. Now we're pulling over here because my earplugs have come out, and one of the things I learned the hard way is when you're riding a long trip at higher than city speeds, I have to have earplugs because studies show that wind moving through the helmet into your ears is well over 100 miles an hour. And I found after I'd been riding a motorcycle for about a year that I started developing some tinnitus with the ringing in my ears that I still struggle with a little bit today. So I would stop. This happened on occasion. I would have to stop and put them back in where it's tight so that I'm not catching all the wind. So we're driving down Highway 16 out of San Saba, Texas. We are headed toward Llano, Texas. I believe that's how you say it. And in total, by the time we get to Llano, we're about 160 miles from Cleburne, where we started. And as I had said earlier in the video, we're kind of feeling the trip. This is let's see, 5 days, and we're somewhere around 1,400 miles, and for us, being our first road trip like this, we're starting to get a little weary, and just truthfully, our rear ends are starting to get a little weary as well. So you'll see as we get into Llano, we stop and take a little break, and matter of fact, we started doing that quite often, every 50 miles or so. At least that's the way it started, was 50 miles, and then we started shortening even that a little bit through part of the trip. So yeah, you'll see us pull over as we get into Llano and take a little break. These are some of the most beautiful little towns. We had gone through a little community called Cherokee, not far out of San Saba, and then we're coming into Llano here in just a few moments, and we stopped and took a break, got something to drink, and couldn't help but admire and just enjoy how beautiful the scenery was, the sky was, and so I stopped and took some pictures and texted some to my wife because they were just beautiful as they could be. I loved it. And a lot of these little towns, matter of fact, some that y'all are very familiar with, you'll see as we go through later, that some of y'all have been through. These are just gorgeous. And one of the things we did throughout most of the trip, I took as many back roads like this one as I could. I avoided the interstate most of the time. Every now and then we had to get on one, as you saw in Fort Worth. We were on I-35. We took the toll road out of Seguin, just outside of San Antonio, to go up toward Waco. Those really are the only two major highways we took the entire trip. Most of them were just like this. That is just, it might have took a little longer because of the red lights and going through towns, but it was just beautiful, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. So yeah, this is Llano. Again, I hope I'm saying that correctly, but I believe that's the way it's pronounced. And we're going to pull over here in a minute and take a little break, so you'll see that. Well, that's what we did. We manned up and got back on the motorcycles and took off. You might have heard me say in the video that we were only about 2.5 hours or so from our destination. We're still on Highway 16, and we're headed now toward Fredericksburg. So we're coming into Fredericksburg, Texas. Beautiful town. It is a German town and a tourist town. People from everywhere come to Fredericksburg because of this main street right here. I don't know if it's called Main Street, but it's one of the main streets, and there are antique shops there on both sides. Lots of little novelty stores, specialty stores, places you can eat, things like that. Just a beautiful place, and we really enjoyed driving through it. Wish we'd had time to stop and walk through some of those, but by this point we've had to stop a few times to rest and stretch a little bit. So we were concerned about getting there before it gets hot. However, you can see that the sky is getting more overcast, and the further we drive toward Camp Wood, the more overcast it becomes, and a nice breeze. As a matter of fact, it had just barely got into the 80s, and so that made the drive that day that much more enjoyable. But we were concerned about the rain, and all the way I was praying that it wouldn't come down on us. And the Lord heard my prayer, and it didn't rain for the most part. But then we got close. As we got closer, it did rain a little bit, but not too bad. But we did enjoy the day of driving even more because of the cool temperatures, the breeze blowing, and all that. Again, I highly recommend, if you want to take a trip into the hill country of Texas, this is a beautiful place up here, and you would enjoy it. And again, we would love to go back and spend some time in Fredericksburg. From Fredericksburg, we're going to keep heading on 16. We're going to continue on Highway 16 toward Kerrville. So we are coming up on Kerrville, and we're actually going to stop just a little bit before Kerrville to fuel up. Then we're going to get on I-10 and head up to Highway 41. We're going to cut across 41 to Highway 83. So we're going to take a little time here to stretch and get fuel, relax a little bit, and get ready for the last leg of the journey. We are noticing that the clouds are getting heavier and heavier, and so I know for me, I'm a little concerned about the GoPro camera on the rear of the bike because it is not waterproof. So keep an eye on that. Well, we're headed on I-10 now. Let's get off on this exit to go to Highway 41, and we've missed the rain so far, but then as we're getting close to that exit, it begins to come down a little bit. I had actually already stopped a few miles back to take the rear GoPro camera off, just because I didn't want to get damaged in the rain, and I had my half of my rain suit on, just the pants, and so I'm telling Dad on our intercom system there that as soon as we exit off, we're going to need to put everything on so we can stay dry as best we can. So we're going to get off on this exit and getting on to Highway 41 toward Leakey, Texas. Well, actually toward Highway 83 to go to Leakey. So we're going to pull off here to get on this highway, and there's an overpass. So it provided a little shelter that we could get off and get everything dry. Well, so we got everything dry and back on the road, and of course, obviously, it's still raining just a little bit. We made our way over to from 41 to Highway 83, and the closer we got to Highway 83, it was not raining as hard. And then as we were coming into Leakey, Texas, I believe that's how you say it, Leakey, Texas, we decided we were going to go ahead and eat here before we got to Camp Wood. And so we, being unfamiliar with the area, we pulled into this little spot here to give me a chance to see if I could figure out what we were looking for. And we had passed one restaurant behind us, but I didn't know for sure if that's the only one or if that's where we wanted to go. So we did a little looking around. I was looking at my phone and trying to figure out what we wanted to do. And what we decided that we would do was to turn around and go back. There's a little Mexican restaurant behind us, and so we're gonna head back there and have lunch before we go on into Camp Woods. At this point, we're about 20 miles from our location, our place to stop for the night. And actually, we're going to stop for a couple of nights in Camp Woods. And so we've decided we're going to eat before we get there. And it's such a beautiful day, we were just taking our time anyway.
That's where we would, yeah.
All right, so we finished up our meal there in Leakey, Texas, and now we're on West Ranch Road 337 toward Camp Wood, and we are on what is known by motorcycle enthusiasts as the Twisted Sister route. And this is just a very small route, or I'm sorry, a very small portion of the route. But I'm going to do a separate video on that. I'm not going to go into all of that, except to say it was loads of fun. But again, I'll show you that in a separate video. And I encourage you, again, if you are in the hill country, or if you have some time to go to the hill country, around that area, Leakey, Texas, Camp Wood, all up in there, it's a wonderful ride, wonderful drive. And the Twisted Sister, at least that one section we were on, is a lot of fun. So be sure and check that video out and watch our ride on there. Lots of fun. You'll enjoy it. Well, I realized that being unfamiliar with the area, I realized that I had just passed the road that I was supposed to turn on. So we're fixing to make a little U-turn, but again, just noticing the scenery, even as I'm turning around, it didn't really matter. We were enjoying the view. Overcast day, beautiful skies and beautiful weather. And of course, about this time, let's see, I'm going to guess it is about noon, if I remember correctly. It's about noon. And we've been on the road since 3 o'clock. So we're tired and we're ready to get there and get into bed and get a nap. So I've turned around and headed back to the road that we're supposed to turn on And I have to admit that I didn't read the directions very well, because the directions that the lady gave me to her house was to turn on this road, and it was the first home on the left. Well, I missed that little detail, and I truthfully don't even know what I'm looking for. But too, if you look to the left right now, that's our place. But I don't remember what I was looking for. I don't know what was going on in my head at the time. I don't know if I was looking for a specific number that I had in my mind or something, but I'm passing right now the place of where we're supposed to be at. And this dirt road here is caliche. Of course, it's a little bit wet from the rain, and so a little sticky. And I don't like driving on those kinds of roads, and I really don't like my dad driving on those kinds of roads. And I'm thinking, well, I'm sure hoping we're going to get there quick, because this stuff's getting thick. Well, the further we went, as you can see, the worse the road got. It just kept getting bumpier, and in a worse condition. So you'll see as we get on down here, I soon realized that I have passed my destination. Of course, it becomes obvious when I've reached a point that I can't go any further and feel like I can safely make it. So here we have two gates, one on the right, one on the left, and then this road. Now notice the tracks. And you may not can tell, but the further those tracks go, the deeper they get. And it is obvious that a motorcycle is not going to make it, especially mine. Now, if it was a dirt bike, it might be fine, but I have a 1500. It weighs about 800 pounds plus all the gear I've got on there. So Dad and I are pretty certain, not only are we not going to make that, we don't want to try. That don't even look like a lot of fun. So I'm going to pull out my phone and pull up the email and see if I can figure out where we're supposed to be. And sure enough, when I pull it up, I realize she had said first entrance, first home on the left as you pull in. And so I caught it, and we turn around and head back to the location. So Dad's backing up, I'm turning around, and we're going to go back. I will say that was my first time to really drive on a caliche dirt road on my motorcycle. It handled very well. It didn't slip or anything like that, but I've known someone to have driven on this and had a wreck, and it wasn't great, and something I had promised myself I would never do, but I found myself doing it here today, though not intentionally, not by choice, but it wouldn't have been so bad if I just read the directions and went to the place. And so we had a prearranged location as to where I would find the keys, and there's also a gate opener, automatic gate opener. So that's what I've got going on there. So basically, it's a double wide home, manufactured home. But very nice inside, and again, I will show you some of that here in a few minutes. I originally thought that the building directly in front of us right now was where we were going to be, but then I remembered, again, had not paid a lot of attention to the details until I got there, but that's going to be a coffee and tea room when they get it done. So any of their people can go in and sit down and so I'm assuming they have some plans to really expand this out. To the left, they own that property as well. There's another, I don't know if it's a trailer, I think it's a manufactured home like that again. Believe it or not, that bed you see there to the left is there not just for decoration. They put that there, so if you want to go out at night and stare up into the stars, you are welcome to do so. Yeah. So we spent a couple of nights here, and I'll give you a tour in just a moment. All right, so
ending of day 2, the return trip of day 2. We have made it to Camp Wood, Texas, and that's where we're going to stay for the next couple of nights. Traveled through a lot of the hill country today, and man, what a beautiful drive. And of course, if you're watching the video, you've seen some of that. The two of the places that we have stayed, because I was looking for not only location but price and privacy. I used Airbnb.com. Basically, these are people's homes that they've set it up where they can have guests, and so I've done that twice now, and this is the second place. So we are actually on, let's see, West Ranch Road 337. Coming out of Cleburne today, we drove down through Fredericksburg, through Kerrville, and I think it's Leakey, Texas is how you say that, Leakey, Texas. Actually on Highway 83, which is unique, because that's, where we are. And then I took Ranch Road down to, this is Mountain Shadow Lane off of West Ranch Road 337. And of course, there's my view. Not bad. Not bad at all. Beautiful, beautiful view. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking, as nice as it feels right now, I may take a motorcycle ride back up the mountain. All right, so here's the home that the owners own anyway, and there is a little suite in the back of it. They also own that property over there, and they're working on this back piece back here. But Airbnb is all about people's homes, and you're getting to stay. Their whole philosophy is you're going to stay there like you live there and experience it like you live there. Now, I don't know how that works as well, if that's true or not, but anyway. But in comparison to hotels and things around the hill country area, this was very reasonable, very, very reasonable. And so basically at the gate, when we got to the gate today, you probably can't see it, but there's a little nap bag swing in there, and they had it set up for us to pick up the keys to the little suite. And so I want to show you what that is. So we come in here through this side gate here, and really nice backyard. And this was our own entrance. It's a private entrance. It is disconnected from the rest of the house. And here we are coming in there. So when you come in the door, there's the little kitchenette. And there's a bathroom to the left. I'm not going to take you in there because I kind of washed some clothes and letting them dry. Of course, I'm waiting on our supper that I started a moment ago, waiting on that to get done. And then, all right, so there's the hallway that we come in, and that's the connecting door to the rest of the house, but it is locked. And so we have privacy, and that's the hallway. And this is a little area there. And then Dad has a bedroom in there. And I have a bedroom in here, and there's actually a bathroom between. So very nice area. Very nice area, very comfortable, very peaceful. And again, not bad for the
All right, hello everybody. I wanted to share with you kind of what Dad and I have been doing on the road to eat. We don't want to eat out every meal. We've eaten out a few. Most of it's been fast food. A lot of it's been breakfast, catching like Whataburger, McDonald's on the way. But during the afternoons for lunch and for supper, We didn't want to eat out all the time; they get quite expensive. So I've been using these backpacker pantry. Got them at Academy, and all you have to do is boil water to cook them, and so that's what I've been using. And this has been my little setup here. Just a little propane tank there, and a one burner, and takes water. So that's how we make coffee. That's how we have eaten. And this one takes 2 1/4 cups of water. Alright, so that is 12 ounces. Let's see. Alright, so 12. You know, I found that it doesn't have to be quite exact, and it's okay. That should be about right. Water going. So then what we do, get that open here. Now, it has a absorber, moisture absorber package. You want to get that out. Although they say if you happen to accidentally cook it in there, it's okay. So I don't know if you can see. The light will hit that well enough, but basically these are just freeze-dried meals. But wow, are they good? Freeze-dried. It's very, very good. Alright, so we'll let the bottle of the water, we will let the water boil and get back to it. Alright, so the water is getting close to boiling here. I have a cute little kettle. It actually is one of those whistling kettles. The door off here in just a second. Ah, there it goes. Okay. So I'm going to measure again. Make sure I do this well. Alright, so that is basically 1 cup. And 2 cups and just a little more to make the 2 cups and 1/4. Take a little spoon and stir all of that up. Now, I don't know if you saw a while ago, but we were having Cajun style rice and chicken. Cajun style rice and chicken. And yes, there is real chicken up in here. Okay, so once you stir it up good, it has a Ziploc type seal on it. And the directions say, let's sit for 15 to 20 minutes. So, I'm going to go set my timer and come back in 15 to 20 minutes. Alright, so my timer just went off. I'm going to check and see. see if I can get this down there where you can see it. Well, I'm sorry you can't smell it because it smells really good. Alright, so that's pretty good. So there it is. Cajun rice and chicken.